Everybody, it is Friday at 1:30, and you know what time it is. Well, we're coming to you live from the Near Disney YouTube studio, which is located in Central Florida, actually in the town that Disney built called Celebration, Florida. And today we want to talk about this really cool community because what we like to do is talk about, almost look at it as neighborhoods. You know, that Cinderella's castle is at the center of the hub of a wheel. And then you'll have towns like Celebration. And then you have Champions Gate Reunion, which we're going to talk about today. And then there'll be Windermere and St. Cloud and all these hubs off of the wheel. And so today I'm very, very excited to share a video with you about an area that you can have as a primary home. You can find those there, but you can also find investment properties in Reunion and Champions Gate where people like to buy them so that they can either have them so that they come down when the weather's a little nippy up north and stay there for a week, and they have a management group that would then rent it out for them for the remainder of the year with perhaps the goal of breaking even or whatever, and just being able to hopefully continue to have some equity, continue to grow in some of these really cool communities. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show a video to you to give you an idea of Reunion Champions Gate. You know, if you love to golf, if you love to be in a community that is really close to Walt Disney World and Universal, and you still have access to get to the beaches on either side, I think you might enjoy it. I will make sure I come back at the end to see if you have any questions, and I'll explain a couple of nuances that I think it's really important that you are wanting to possibly know about. So let's go ahead, show you the video, and I'll be back.
To Champion, a great place to live? Well, look no further because we're getting ready to show you Champions Gate and Reunion, Florida.
So Reunion Resort and Champions Gate are only 1.5 miles from one another, and you're going to find some fabulous golf. So Reunion has the King, Arnold Palmer, beautiful golf course right here, the Golden Bear, Jack Nicklaus, and the Huck, which is Tom Watson. 3 fabulous golf courses located here in Reunion. Champions Gate, the Great White Shark, Greg Norman, and Ledbetter. The Ledbetter Golf Academy is located and headquartered in Champions Gate, Florida.
So for those of you that love to play golf, this is the area that you want to concentrate in.
Reunion, Florida is a master planned vacation resort. So what you'll find here is that many people buy into this as a second home. Or what we're finding more recently is there are a lot of people who are moving from up north and calling this their permanent residence. Reunion has some fabulous resort amenities. Of course, there's a hotel that has a number of different restaurants. You also have Traditions, which is located on the Jack Nicklaus course. There's a water park. There's a tennis complex. You'll find miniature golf and many walking and biking trails. So this truly is a resort environment in Reunion, Florida.
Hey everybody, if you are looking for a spectacular place to have dinner, there's a place called 11. Guess why it's called 11? It's on the 11th floor of this amazing hotel right in the center of Reunion, Florida. So just check it out, the panoramic view that you're going to be able to see all of the fireworks from Central Florida pretty much. And from here, the views as they continue in this direction, there's an area called Champions Gate. Why is it called Champions Gate? Well, there's a lot more golf courses that are over there as well. So Ronald Reagan Parkway is going to lead you to several gated communities that are in this Davenport area. The wonderful friend of mine that owns CG Salon, the hair salon that actually we gave the Joy Ambassador prize to, she lives over there. Her name is Christina Neal, and her mother, Cheryl. And also another person that lives in that area is Peter Graves. He was the orchestrator for the Bee Gees, Frank Sinatra, and Darius Rucker. So we've got a lot of good vibes and a lot of good music over here by Champions Gate. Make sure that you subscribe and like so that we can continue to give you up-to-date information on all things that are going around the 25-mile radius of Cinderella's Castle, because this is truly a magical place to live. Hey, so while we're up here on this rooftop, I want to talk about real estate. Everything from about $250,000 up to $12 million is going to be available in this area. We just sold in Champions Gate a $250,000. It was a condo that was a 2-bedroom plus a den. It had an attached garage in a gated community for $250,000. But as of the moment as well, there's a huge house. It's over 17,000 square feet. It has its own bowling alley. It has a movie theater. It is amazing in Reunion, and that is for sale for $11,500,000. So I think no matter what your budget is, we're going to be able to find you something over here in Champions Gate and also in Reunion. So as I mentioned before, it's really important that you have a professional realtor that's aware of these areas, because there are things like memberships. So for example, when you come into Reunion, you have to know if the house or the condo that you're buying has an active membership on it if you want to play golf. And then you're going to have a fee that you need to pay as an initiation fee to continue to have that privilege to play golf and to go to the water park. Now, if that's not available on that house, there's a very good chance you're not going to be able to have that amenity. And so if you're buying out here for short-term rental possibilities, that may limit you in regard to the number of guests that will want to stay in your property, because they may be coming out here in order to play golf and also to go to the water park. But these houses, a lot of people will also stay full year because they like the location. You can be within 15 minutes of Walt Disney World from here. Sometimes the traffic gets backed up, but guess what? You're going to figure out your time schedules and you're going to get around that, and you're going to have access to all these wonderful perks. But please make sure you touch base with my realtors, and they'll tell you what the rules and regs are to make sure that you have a great experience when you're buying out in this area and there's no surprises. So please be sure to call us 407-808-9845, and I'll make sure I connect you with one of the best realtors on my team, I promise.
They're telling me we do have B-roll of him swinging.
No, please.
Wait.
Seriously.
Okay, there it is.
Oh my God. No, that.
So a long time ago, I want to say probably at least 20 years ago, I was in charge of marketing for Church Street Station, and I had the opportunity afterwards to go to the Walt Disney World Dolphin and work with the National Basketball Association, in which I met Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, a whole bunch of other wonderful athletes. Well, the story goes that Charles Barkley became a friend of my family, and he wants to be a great golfer. Well, bless his heart, I don't think that's in his cards. I think God gave him the gift to be able to play basketball, but he sure is trying because he wanted to play golf. Well, he asked me to go meet a gentleman by the name of David Ledbetter. Well, David Ledbetter's name is big time in golf, and he has a golf academy right here in Champions Gate. So Charles gave me his golf clubs and said, hey, I think the way I'm going to be able to improve my game is to ask David Ledbetter to re-grip my golf clubs, which he didn't normally do for most people, but because I was Charles Barkley, he did it. But the funny thing is, re-gripped the golf clubs, brought him back to Charles, he played around with Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan said, that didn't improve your game whatsoever. And Charles was saying, he must have re-gripped my golf clubs the wrong way. Charles, that's not right. I just think basketball is your game.
I actually think over the last 3 years, this is a well-maintained golf course. I enjoy playing here. I know what it takes to maintain the top-rated golf course. And I have to say that over the last 3 years, all three golf courses here at Reunion have been maintained more than I expected, actually. So I do enjoy playing. The greens are fabulous, and the fairways are well maintained. Every morning I look out, and the traps are combed and everything. I think it's a great place to play golf. I really do.
Can you imagine not having a better day than this? Being out here at Reunion Resort, they've got 3 signature golf courses, and I understand they are like heaven. But the weather's absolutely spectacular, and so make sure when you get a chance to check out golf anywhere in Florida that you look to the Reunion Resort. And if they're booked, then maybe you go next door to Champions Gate. And there's an Omni Hotel there as well with some wonderful restaurants. So you can't go wrong, and you're going to have lots of options. Look at this. I can't believe it. I feel like I'm in some foreign land right here, because this is not the flatlands of Florida. This is an amazing golf course that is treated very well, and lots of champions have been here to play this course. So once again, Reunion, done very well, and we would like to be your realtors of choice if you ever are looking to purchase any real estate or sell any real estate in the Central Florida area, that 25-mile radius around Cinderella's Castle. And you too can get out here, breathe this fresh air, and enjoy the best of the best of.
So anyway, what did you guys think about that? I wanted to give a big shout out to Robin and Tony Malentino. He was sharing how well the golf courses are taken care of in Reunion. They are owners of the Saratoga Springs National Golf Course up there. So he was speaking. Oop, here I am. Oh my gosh, I had myself on mute. Sorry about that. I just was saying I wanted to give a big shout out to Robin and Tony Malentino. They were on that video in Reunion, and he was talking about how wonderful the golf courses are maintained there. And he talks from a point of authority because they are part owners of the Saratoga Springs National Golf Course in New York. So I think that was very helpful to have information on. Now, while you're watching, and while you have me, if you have any questions on how it works with buying an investment property, feel free to ask me anything directly. I think what I'll go ahead and start and share some of my expertise with that. Sometimes what people will do is they will buy an investment property, say in Reunion or Champions Gate, and then they will look to a management group to help them make sure that it is rented out. You pay them a fee. They will make sure that housekeeping comes in. It depends on how you've got it contracted, but many times they're the ones that are filling those weeks in the calendar. You get to look at your calendar. Sometimes people will call their house a cute name, Goofy's Home Away from Home or whatever it is. And websites are created. And then there is a split with that management company. Now, some people prefer to kind of treat it like an Airbnb, and they want to go ahead and get the bookings, stay in contact with the people, because if you get really good at this, you potentially could have the same people, or a good portion of those people, want to stay with you year after year after year after year. Because what they're doing is they're saying, hey, I would rather stay at a nice house, sometimes homes that have their own swimming pool, and to be able to go to the parks and have multiple bedrooms available to them. So sometimes you will see these huge, huge, huge mansion homes, particularly in Reunion, might have 10 bedrooms because somebody has a big family, or because they want to invest in something where potentially, like when the National Cheerleaders Association comes to Central Florida, they want to be able to rent a house where multiple bedrooms can be used by a big group. And so either you're Airbnb-ing it, but you're still going to need a management group, right? That's going to be able to go in and clean it, make sure that they're watching that, that it's not getting flooded, or, those kind of things. So what I typically would say, contact me. My number's right there, 407-808-9845. I can think of some really good reputable groups like Epic does an excellent job at managing properties like that. I want to say they might charge about 15% in order to help you get those bookings in place and taking care of things. That's considered a really good rate. Because sometimes, if you're not aware, sometimes these groups sometimes are saying, I'm going to charge you 30%, 25%, whatever. And so you really want to look at the quality of the service, what the reputation of that company is like too, because obviously, there's things like you could have a Ring doorbell on your property and see when people are coming in and out of your property, right? Which is important because back in the old days, other companies were somewhat sketchy where they were not telling you that they were renting out the property. They'd be like, oh, nobody's been in there, but they were taking money for that stuff. That does not exist with the companies that I recommend to you. They're very, very good at what they do. And people have had some really good successes with that. And then you're still able to potentially have your home away from home. And it was a big, big, big bonus, especially when the pandemic was going on, because people were wanting to come to Florida in order to have a little bit more freedoms of walking around. Even if you were able to walk around, just on the sidewalks in the community, get some fresh air, that type of thing. People found that when they were getting into these locations, they were calling saying, can I extend for months? Because, they might want to stay like one day shy of 6 months. I think anything over 6 months is considered long-term rentals. And that can be the case too, guys. You could have an investment property where you're saying, I want to buy it now, and we want to rent it out on a yearly basis because at some point we want to retire and we want to make Central Florida our home. So this is the area that gives you the most flexibility, And there are some properties too that potentially will have like an apartment over top of the garage. And so maybe you're renting out the house and then you keep the apartment forever whenever you want to come stay or you want to send a friend to come stay. That's a big benefit too. So there's a lot of nuances. One of the nuances might be too, you got to check and see if there's memberships included or not. Because sometimes if you are in, say, Reunion and you want to make sure that your people have access to playing golf or the lazy river or something like that, you got to make sure there's clarity up front if that's available or if it's even important to you at all. Because what you might be interested in most is coming into a guard-gated community. It's a person that's guarding that gate. And then you can come in and use the standard swimming pools, which is wonderful because many times people are basically sleeping there and then heading out to Disney or Universal and SeaWorld. And so they may not be spending that much time. But if you're a golfer or you're a big time golfer, then in fact, we want to make sure that we know what you want up front so that we can help you get everything that you would like to make sure that it's a good opportunity for you. Okay? All right. Well, that's today's show. I don't see any questions. I see people saying hi. I really appreciate it. We have a show on Monday night dedicated to celebration at 7 p.m. On Wednesday night, my Realtor Dream Team does a show at 7 p.m. talking about the 25-mile radius around Cinderella Castle. And on Fridays, we do these evergreen, just in case if you have any questions. But please go to Near Disney YouTube. Check out our videos. We have over 700 very helpful videos talking about what's going on everywhere in the 25-mile radius of Cinderella Castle. All right. Until the next time we see you guys, take care.